Hello. Today's episode number 55 of the Professor Slots podcast discusses 7 secrets to winning on slots during your Las Vegas vacation. Plus, in this episode, I'll be covering the current state of slot machine casino gambling in the great U.S. states of Tennessee and Texas. Thank you for joining me for the Professor Slots podcast show. I'm John Friedel, and this is a podcast about slot machine casino gambling. It is where I provide knowledge, insights, and tools for helping you improve your slot machine gambling performance. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over my online resource, a state-by-state slot machine casino gambling series. Further, I reviewed South Carolina and South Dakota slot machine casino gambling in 2019. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Let's start with the first segment of the show, playing slots in Las Vegas. In June of 2019, 3.6 million people visited Las Vegas. Perhaps you are one of them, or perhaps you have yet to have your first Las Vegas visit. Whether you are a frequent traveler to Las Vegas or a newbie, you want to be better prepared at playing slots in Las Vegas. Good for you. Preparation is key. A little can go a long way, especially when it comes to your hard-won cash. In this episode, I'll start with 7 secrets to winning on slots during your Las Vegas visit. The segment has the following sections: an introduction, Nevada payout return limits, know your Nevada gaming stats, check the most recent payout return statistics, the many wonderful Las Vegas gambling podcasts, downtown versus the Strip, when to visit and when not to visit, candidate winning slot machines in Las Vegas, and I'll tell you now, secret content, and a summary. 1. Nevada payout return limits. Nevada State Gaming Regulation number 14 places a minimum legal limit on payout returns for slot machines. This theoretical minimum payout return limit is 75%. Further, this lower limit applies per wager. Quote, all gaming devices must, theoretically, pay out a mathematically demonstrable percentage of all amounts wagered, which must not be less than 75% for each wager available for play on the machine. End quote. That's from Nevada's Regulation 14.040, Minimum Standards for Gaming Devices. What does this 75% minimum mean? Does it mean the player gets back 75 cents if they make a $1 bet on a slot machine? No, it doesn't. What it means is that the statistical average is at least 75% return over many, many bets. The additional use of the words per wager in Regulation 14 means the slot machine must never be set less than an average 75% return. For example, an unscrupulous casino operator might set a slot machine to have a 70% return for some time, then later set the payout return to 80% for an equal number of bets. Such a setup would also result in an average 75% return over both periods combined, but wouldn't meet Nevada's legal requirement. Another close examination of the regulations shows something missing, which is well worth noting. What's missing? There's no mention of a maximum legal limit, which some states have put in place. Without an upper legal limit on payout returns, the casino operators in Nevada can offer the occasional slot machine which, on average, wins. Of course, casinos would lose money on slot machines set up this way, but there are still good business reasons to do it. I go over these reasons in episode 21, Winning at Slots in Older Casinos. Suffice to say now, Nevada gaming regulations make doing so legal. 2 questions naturally follow. 1. Do Las Vegas casinos set up the occasional slot machine to be winners? 2. How can a slots player find these winning slot machines? The answer to the first question is yes. Casinos often decide to set up an occasional slot machine to win for promotional purposes. It's a silent casino promotion because casinos choose to do this on slot machines situated to be easily visible to passerby. It's also worth noting that, like any other business activity, it's on a careful budget. Casinos can't afford to do this often because, like everyone else, they are on a budget. But they do it. I know because I've found them before. Later in this episode, I'll share some recent experiences from my fan base regarding candidate winning slot machines in Las Vegas for your consideration. But knowing they exist and why they exist is a necessary first step to finding them. 2. Know your Nevada gaming stats. The Nevada Gaming Control Board and the Nevada Gaming Commission regulates the gaming industry in Las Vegas. The State Gaming Commission's website is both thorough and comprehensive. The state offers several useful resources, but let's consider the other side of payout returns, actual payout statistics. Legal limits and reported statistics are like the difference between a plan of attack and an actual battle. Remember the adage, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Or, in more normal circumstances, having a budget isn't the same as paying bills. In terms of slots gameplay, we know that Nevada gaming regulations have set a minimum payout return limit of 75% per wager on their gaming machines. That's the law. But what happened? How did it work out in the real world? Some states, including Nevada, do more than define a theoretical payout return limit. Nevada provides comprehensive payout return statistics. Each year, I review these actual statistics in Nevada slot machine casino gambling at professorslots.com/NV. My last review for Nevada slots is also found in podcast episode 51. Rather than repeat myself fully, I'll point you towards the payout return section of the Nevada Post just mentioned. For now, I'll say Nevada provides actual payout return statistics by 1. State region, including downtown Las Vegas versus the Strip. 2. Slot machine denomination, including most common amounts but also multi-denominational, megabucks, and other. 3. Duration, including the current month, last 3 months, and last 12 months. And 4. Casino revenue range, including all casinos, those with revenues over $1 billion, between $1 billion and $12 billion, and etc. While past statistics never predict future behavior, a truism from the study of statistics, we can look at the available actuals to see if we can spot business trends. Maybe, just perhaps, we can find a slot machine denomination with the best odds of winning last week, and perhaps they still have high odds this week. Why? Because, in general, casinos are businesses as described, and slots aren't table card games. The odds of winning at table card games can't change unless someone cheats or the game rules change. Slot machines are electronic devices. Yes, they have random number generators, but RNGs are adjustable as a tool by the casino operator trying to control their financial performance metrics finally. 3. Check the most recent payout return statistics. Before your next trip to Las Vegas to play slot machines, visit the Nevada Gaming Commission's website. Under Statistics and Publications, you'll find an entry for Gaming Revenue Report with PDF files available for download. At the time of this recording, the most recently available monthly gaming revenue report from Nevada is for June 2019. These reports include the gaming statistics for slot machines, table games, and sports betting. Further, the leftmost columns are for the most current month, with the remaining columns for 3-month statistics and 12-month statistics. Page 1 of the downloadable PDF is a statewide summary. Since we are discussing a Las Vegas visit, we need to find 2 specific state regions in the report, Downtown Las Vegas and Las Vegas Strip. Both are situated in Clark County. The gaming revenue statistics for Downtown Las Vegas begins on page 8, Cumulative Downtown Las Vegas Casinos. Page 9, Downtown Las Vegas Casinos with over $1 billion in gaming revenue. Page 10, Downtown Las Vegas Casinos with $1 billion to $12 billion in gaming revenue, of which there are currently no such casinos. Page 11, Downtown Las Vegas Casinos with over $12 billion in gaming revenue. The gaming revenue statistics for the Las Vegas Strip are on pages 12 through 17. Page 12, Cumulative Las Vegas Strip Area Casinos. Page 13, Las Vegas Strip Casinos with over $1 billion in gaming revenue. Page 14, Las Vegas Casinos with between $1 billion and $12 billion in gaming revenue, of which there are none. Page 15, Las Vegas Strip Casinos with $12 billion to $36 billion in gaming revenue. Page 16, Las Vegas Strip Casinos with $36 billion to $72 billion in gaming revenue. Page 17, Las Vegas Strip Casinos with over $72 billion in gaming revenue. Since the format is common on all these pages, let's review how to read and understand one of them. Page 8, All Downtown Las Vegas Casinos. The current month columns are 1. Number of locations. 2. Number of units. 3. Win amount in thousands of dollars. 4. Percent change from the last month. 5. Win percent. Note that Nevada reports the win percent for the casino, not the player. In most other states, this percentage is the casino hold percentage or hold percent. Subtracting it from 100% provides the percentage of winnings retained by the player. Further, negative numbers are in parentheses. The lowest casino win percent, that is to say the highest player return, in June 2019 was the $25 denomination slot machines with a negative 7.57 win percent. There were 9 of these slot machines at 3 locations in downtown Las Vegas with an overall monthly player return of 107.57%. Why so high? Quite likely, someone won big on one of these $25 denomination slot machines. That big jackpot pushed up the overall monthly average on all 9 machines. Looking on the same line under the 3-month entry, it was 100% minus 4.77% equals 95.23%. The 12-month average was even smaller at 92.44%. This abrupt change for this last month indicates playing $25 denominations in downtown Las Vegas is not the advantage it might otherwise appear. Slot machine denominations with the highest player returns for June 2019 in all casinos in the downtown Las Vegas area were multi-denominational, 94.56% return to the player; quarter machines, 94.51% return to the player; $1 machines, 94.41% return to the player; nickel machines, 94.25% return to the player; $5 slots, 92.51% return to the player; penny slots, 88.97% return to the player; and mega bucks, 85.98% return to the player. I understand this is a lot of statistics, but consider what we learned even with this simple research of statistics from downtown Las Vegas casinos for June 2019. 1. The worst payout returns for players are in megabucks. 2. The second lowest payout returns is for penny slots. 3. The third lowest payout returns is for $5 and $25 slot machines. 4. The best returns, all very similar, are nickel slots, dollar slots, quarter slots, and multi-denominational slot machines. They're all very close to 94.5%. Further simple analysis would be to perform the same straightforward payout return ranking on downtown Las Vegas casinos, separated into 3 ranges of gaming revenue. I'll save this further analysis for another time. We'd need to run down the monthly gaming revenue for each casino, likely from their casino operators' financial reports filed with the Security Exchange Commission. 4. The many wonderful Las Vegas gambling podcasts. So far, I've talked about the gaming regulations and gaming revenue reports available from the state of Nevada. These topics were based on official information from the government, but that's not everything we have. There are also people like you. More specifically, there are people like you who are enjoying Las Vegas so much that they started a podcast about it. There are more than a few such Las Vegas gambling podcasts. In preparations for your next Las Vegas visit, start listening to them now to learn a lot of tips and tricks from those Las Vegas experts. Each show is more or less available anywhere you find podcasts. Some shows are former or current radio shows which distribute as a podcast. So again, look for them wherever you find podcasts. If you've never listened to a podcast before, you might wonder how to start doing so. Here's how. There are a selection of podcast apps and services on the show notes for this podcast episode at professorslots.com/E55. It's called a sidebar. If you're looking at it on a computer, it's on the right side. If you're looking at a mobile device, it's at the bottom. Those linked images go to my podcast show at those sites. Use their search tool to find any of the following podcast show names. 1. 5 Hundy by Midnight, where Hundy is Hundy. 2. Vegas Never Sleeps. 3. 360 Vegas. 4. You Can Bet on That. 5. Gambling with an Edge. 6. Vegas Confessions Podcast. And 7. Vital Vegas. The longest-running Las Vegas gambling podcast is 5 Hundy by Midnight, the original Las Vegas podcast. They've been at it since January of 2005, providing weekly episodes since then. At the time of this recording, they were up to episode number 702. The hosts are relatively focused on Las Vegas news stories. Vegas Never Sleeps by Steve Maggi is a former radio show now distributed as a podcast. He's been broadcasting since 2008. His show is mostly thoughtful interviews with various Las Vegas entertainers and others. I was one of those other interviewees in March of 2018. 360 Vegas is a popular podcast about all things Las Vegas. They also host an annual meetup called 360 Vegas Vacation. The 2019 event, Twitter hashtag 360VV9, is on September 1st through 3rd, 2019. At the time of this recording, it's still about a month away. Gambling podcast. You Can Bet on That. A podcast for the recreational gambler. Is hosted by Mark and Dr. Mike. They have great chemistry and produce a fun and friendly show. While they are physically located in San Diego, they are so near Las Vegas and visit so often that they often talk about it. Gambling with an Edge is a weekly live radio show in Las Vegas found afterward as podcast episodes. It's hosted by Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin of video poker fame. They interview professional gamblers, authors, and casino insiders. Vegas Confessions podcast is all about the casino and gambling lifestyle. The three hosts are often in Las Vegas. They cover Las Vegas topics as well as gambling superstitions, casino games, food reviews, trip reports, and more. Last but certainly not least is Vital Vegas by Scott Robin. His blog, Twitter feed, and podcasts are incredible. He loves Las Vegas. Here you'll find essential Las Vegas news, tips, deals, and, as he says, WTF. In my opinion, out of all the Las Vegas podcasts I mention here, pick Vital Vegas. You won't regret it. None of these podcasts have paid me to promote them in this episode. I like to listen to them and thought you might find them useful in preparing for your Las Vegas visit. I would further note that this is not a comprehensive list of all Las Vegas podcasts. For instance, I haven't yet listened to the Faces and Aces Las Vegas podcast. Again, the podcasts listed here are merely those I have discovered and enjoyed over time. 5. Downtown versus the Strip. Las Vegas is famous for the Strip with its world-famous mega resorts, shops, 5-star dining options, and entertainment venues. But there is also the smaller and lesser-known historic downtown Las Vegas with its venerable casinos, museums, and zip line. Comparing the Strip to downtown is like comparing apples and oranges. Each location is a unique experience with different options. At a high level, I could perhaps best describe downtown as where many locals go, while the Strip is where out-of-towners tend to be. How do I know this? Because of reported gaming revenue for the two areas. For 2018, the Las Vegas Strip had $6.6 billion in gaming revenue. Also for 2018, downtown Las Vegas had less than 10% of that gaming revenue, or $650 million. The Strip has big casinos, big acts, and big everything else. Again, it's world famous and hardly a secret. Downtown Las Vegas is known as Old Vegas or merely Fremont Street. For many visitors, Old Vegas is the secret worth sharing. Old Vegas is more than one secret. It is perhaps as many as 15 secrets, all by itself. In advance of your Las Vegas visit, consider reviewing a post from The Crazy Tourist called 15 Best Things to Do in Downtown Las Vegas. I'll mention now that these 15 best things about Old Vegas include Vegas Vic, an iconic neon sign. The Slotzilla zip line, which is about a third of a mile long and passes over the canopy covering the Fremont Street experience. Old Vegas Mormon Fort, a historic inner-city park dating back to the mid-1880s. Heart Attack Grill. Do they really let you sip a soft drink through an IV line? Downtown Las Vegas Event Center, a mega-sized open-air event center. Zach Bacon's Haunted Museum, where Zach is a paranormal investigator with a TV show called Ghost Adventures. I wonder if he has a podcast show. Hold on, I'll check. Nope, but a lot of other people do, where they go over each of his TV episodes in detail. Interesting. Container Park, a unique shopping mall made entirely out of shipping containers. You know, like the boxes on the back of a semi-trailer or stacked on an ocean liner? Huh. Its picture looks nice, though. Mob Museum, which speaks for itself. Fear the Walking Dead. They bill themselves as an escape room with a difference. I am so glad my sister didn't know about this before our trip to Las Vegas. It was tough enough keeping up with her insisting we walk 15 miles a day for exercise. Didn't we know we were in the desert? In July? Goodness gracious. Commonwealth, which bills itself as a classy bar with lots of leather seats and an extensive collection of whiskey bottles. Neon Museum, which is where a lot of the older neon signs from historic Las Vegas have been preserved and are shown off. Downtown Summerlin, which is an open-air mall in downtown Las Vegas. It's the name of the mall, not the downtown of another city in Las Vegas, I guess. The Canyon Club is a place where you can still see Elvis, or at least an impersonator. The Cal, which is the historic California hotel and casino. Make sure you rub the belly of the Happy Buddha wooden statue at the entrance. Viva Vista Light Show. Remember when I mentioned the zip line over the Fremont Street Experience canopy cover? Well, that canopy isn't just a cover. It's also a huge video screen covering the street. It's spectacular at night. Showtimes vary and are seasonal, so make sure you check the schedule. If you are staying on or slightly off the Las Vegas Strip but want to visit downtown Las Vegas or vice versa, how do you get there? How far apart are they? Downtown and the Strip are about 2 to 5 miles apart. With light traffic on Las Vegas Boulevard, it takes 15 to 20 minutes to drive from mid-strip to the Fremont Street experience. This time applies to driving your car or taking a rental, including finding a spot to park. Otherwise, there's taking the bus, walking, rideshare services like Uber and Lyft, and taking a taxi. It's a 2-mile walk from the Stratosphere on the north end of the Strip. 6. When to visit and when not to visit. Whether you visit the Las Vegas Strip, downtown Las Vegas, or both, winning at slots in Las Vegas means considering when to visit. This question has to do with the number of visitors in Las Vegas at any given time. In 2018, over 42 million people visited Las Vegas. In June of 2019, 3.9 million people visited, according to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau. Only 514,000 visitors, about 13% of the monthly visitors, were visiting in June to attend a conference. Per month, most visitors are in March at less than 3.8 million, while the least visitors were in February at 3.2 million individuals. Conference attendance is meager during December. What I'm trying to do here by digging into these statistics isn't to examine the number of visitors in a month or a year in the city of Las Vegas. What I'm trying to dig into relates to experiences my fan base has been having when visiting Las Vegas. What happens to them? Whether they are on the Strip or downtown, they have been reporting that they win at slots on weekdays and lose playing slots on weekends. Why? I can explain why, and touched on why above, but it hardly matters. This pattern exists, whatever its cause, and I want that you should know about it when planning your Las Vegas visit. I touched on why this is above, about casinos being a business with fine control over their payout return statistics for slots. This control is now daily due to technological advances in casino operating systems. At most modern casinos, central computers control slot machine odds of winning. As I have mentioned elsewhere, casino operators have been seeing an unprecedented number of casino visitors. To manage such large groups, casino operators need to automate their casinos. Doing so allowed them to reduce their workforce while also providing them the ability to achieve their daily financial performance metrics. Both changes related to significantly reducing operating costs. However, automation means casinos can quickly adjust the odds of winning on all their slot machines. When would they need to do this? It's a business decision. Casino operators universally decrease the odds of winning on slot machines during the weekends when hotels have higher occupancy. To keep some balance, they also increase the odds of winning on slots during weekdays. The exception here is Friday, as that should be considered a weekend day in Las Vegas. Nevada gaming regulations require a monthly revenue report from each casino. That's a monthly report. Even if it was a weekly report, this difference in weekday and weekend payout returns is unnoticeable. Both a weekly and monthly report show the payout return average over their respective periods. Only a daily report would show the casino's behavior changing slot machine odds within a week. But the Nevada gaming regulations don't show daily gaming revenue reports. No state does. So casino operators can do this without breaking any laws. Based on experiences shared by my audience, there are lower odds of winning on slot machines starting at 10 a.m. on Friday through around sunrise on Monday morning. Further, the same reduction occurs on significant holidays or whenever Las Vegas has more extensive than usual crowds of visitors. Please plan your Las Vegas visit accordingly, especially when choosing which day or days you plan on playing slot machines while there. In general, if there's a crowd, then be very cautious about risking your bankroll. 7. Candidate winning slot machines in Las Vegas. Scott Robin first mentioned the best slot machine I know about in Las Vegas. He runs the Vito Vegas blog, Twitter feed, and podcast. This slot machine is in Four Queens in downtown Las Vegas over by the cashier's cage. Scott posted a photo of this Old Faithful slot machine on Twitter along with its general area within the casino. It's a 2-credit, $5 denomination progressive Wheel of Fortune machine. Being a $5 denomination slot machine, it's high limit. I don't recommend playing high-limit slots unless you can afford the relatively large bankroll required to make 100 to 120 bets of $10 each. Don't ever bet any amount of money you can't afford to lose. Remember, winning by luck isn't something which I can help you or anyone else. Instead, winning because you have an excellent plan is something with which I can and do help. Bonus secret. Thanks for listening so far into this rather long podcast with so many statistics. You deserve a reward. And here it is. Less than 2 months ago, audience member James reported from the Four Queens Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Based on his experiences, they've set up their slot machines to provide a quick win or taste, followed by no wins. The advantage play to use in response to this casino setup is what I call my 5-pull method. For slot machines there, make only 5 bets before moving to another slot machine. If you win anything at all, move on without making any remaining bets. Optionally, if you can, try to play slot machines not played for at least a few minutes or longer. Of course, finding an idle slot machine isn't possible on busy nights at the casino. I explain this winning strategy in detail in episode number 23, Winning Strategy 1, Main Slots in 2018. In June of 2019, 3.6 million people visited Las Vegas. Next month, you might be one of them. Whether you're a frequent traveler to Las Vegas or a newbie, this episode helps you be better prepared for playing slots in Las Vegas. When it comes to winning with slots at some place you're not as familiar with as your local casino, preparation with a little thought is the key to a successful trip. Join our Nevada Slots community at professorslots.com/FBNV, a private Facebook group, for more Las Vegas advice from fellow lovers of slots in Las Vegas. Have a great Las Vegas visit and let us know how it goes. Remember to visit professorslots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Up next is the second segment of the show on slot machine casino gambling. Here I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in 2 U.S. states, territories, or the federal district, emphasizing, by far, anything of interest to slot machine casino gamblers. Up first is Tennessee slot machine casino gambling in 2019. Here goes. Tennessee slot machine casino gambling does not exist. There are no casinos nor any slot machines in Tennessee. Likewise, there are no tribal casinos. The minimum legal gambling age in Tennessee depends upon the gambling activity. It is not available for land-based casinos, poker rooms, or pari-mutuel wagering. For bingo and the lottery, it is 18. Article 11, Section 5 of the 2014 Tennessee Constitution prohibits the legislature from authorizing games of chance, including slot machines, roulette wheels, and more. The constitutional amendment will also impact the ability for a federally recognized tribe to negotiate a tribal state compact. The federal law that allows tribal state gaming compacts, the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, IGRA, requires that the state not prohibit gaming. As the Tennessee Constitution prohibits gaming and Tennessee has no federally recognized American Indian tribes, there can be no state tribal gaming compact. Up next is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. In Tennessee, it is illegal to own a slot machine privately. Tennessee has no state gaming commission for slot machines and the like, as the state constitution prohibits such games of chance. However, it does have a state lottery commission and a charitable gaming division. The State Lottery Commission is a Tennessee Education Lottery, TEL. In late 2002, voters approved the TEL. Tickets began to sell in early 2004. Since then, it has raised more than $4 billion for educational programs up to and including 2-year college institutions. The Division of Charitable Solicitations in Gaming under the Tennessee Secretary of State is responsible for enforcing the Tennessee nonprofit gaming law. This law allows eligible organizations to hold a single annual Games of Chance fundraiser event. Approval to hold an event requires a 2/3 vote of approval by the General Assembly. In fiscal year 2017 to 2018, there were 178 approved charitable gaming fundraising events. The division has expanded due to the Fantasy Sports Act of 2016, allowing operators to obtain a license to legally offer fantasy sports betting in Tennessee. In this section, I'll discuss Tennessee gambling establishments. There are no casinos in Tennessee. There are no non-tribal commercial casinos in Tennessee. Tennessee has no federally recognized American Indian tribes. Therefore, there are no tribal casinos in Tennessee. There's not much going on with regards to slots in Tennessee. There's no non-tribal casinos, no chance of tribal casinos with a federally recognized tribe, and slot machines can't be owned privately no matter their date of manufacture. I do wonder about the once-a-year charitable events. Further, how hard is it to get such an event approved by the Tennessee General Assembly? If you know, let us know at professorslots.com/FBTN, our slots community for Tennessee. It's a private Facebook group I've recently started for Tennessee slots enthusiasts, along with 56 other slots communities for all the other states, territories, and our federal district. To find any one of these state-specific groups, use this easy-to-remember URL I've created. ProfessorSlots.com/FB for Facebook, followed by the state's 2-letter postal designation. Again, for Tennessee, it's ProfessorSlots.com/FBTN. As an alternative to enjoying Tennessee slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Tennessee is, to the north, Kentucky and Virginia, to the east, North Carolina, to the south, Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, to the west, Arkansas and Missouri. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit ProfessorSlots.com followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Kentucky Slots article is available at ProfessorSlots.com/KY. Neither payout return limits nor statistics are available for Tennessee. Tennessee slot machine casino gambling does not exist. There are no casinos nor any legal slot machines in Tennessee. Likewise, there are no tribal casinos. Charitable fundraising events exist with approval from the Tennessee General Assembly. Tennessee has recently expanded its gaming opportunities by legalizing fantasy sports betting. It also has a state lottery. Over the last year, the Tennessee Secretary of State's Division of Charitable Solicitations changed its name to the Division of Charitable Solicitations and Gaming, as it became responsible for regulating fantasy sports betting in Tennessee. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Up next is the second state comprising this episode segment, Texas slot machine casino gambling in 2019. Here goes. Texas slot machine casino gambling consists of 2 American Indian tribal casinos with Class II competition-style machines. Texas also has 6 pari-mutuel wagering facilities without slot machines. Neither minimum or maximum payout return limits exist for tribal casinos in Texas. No actual payout returns are publicly available. The minimum legal gambling age in Texas depends upon the gambling activity. For land-based casinos and poker rooms, it's 21. For pari-mutuel wagering in the lottery, it's 18. For bingo, it's 18 in churches, 21 in casinos, and less than 18 if accompanied by an adult. The state government of Texas has long challenged the legality of tribal gaming in Texas, with some successes, resulting in a dynamic history from the late 1980s through 2017. Texas has 3 federally recognized American Indian tribes, including Alabama Coushatta Tribe, Kickapoo Traditional Tribe of Texas, and the Tegue Tribe of the Isleta de Sur Pablo. The Texas state government and tribes have so far been unable to negotiate a state tribal gaming compact. Therefore, Texas prohibits tribal casinos from having Class III Vegas-style electronic gaming machines. Subsequently, the tribal casinos in Texas offer only Class II bingo-style slot machines. These machines give the appearance of traditional slot machines with spinning reels for entertainment purposes only. Players compete for prizes against other players throughout a casino's gaming floor. There have been substantial lawsuits by the Texas state government to shut down tribal casinos offering Class II gaming, with some successes. Various court filings and rulings regarding the legality of tribal casinos in Texas have continued since the late 1980s to as recently as 2017. In brief, Texas has challenged the legality of the Federal Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, IGRA, of 1988, based on the argument that the Restoration Act of 1987 takes precedence. This Restoration Act gave federal recognition to the Tegue and Alabama Coushatta tribes, while also explicitly forbidding gambling. These legal challenges have resulted in the conversion of the Speaking Rock Casino into a non-casino facility, renamed the Speaking Rock Entertainment Center. It no longer offers any form of gambling. Regarding slot machine private ownership, it is legal to privately own a slot machine in the state of Texas without a restriction on its date of manufacture. And by the way, Texans, if you are interested in owning a used slot machine, there is a business called Gambler's Paradise in Franklin, Ohio. You might want to look them up on the internet. They're willing to ship your purchase to any state that doesn't prohibit private ownership of a slot machine. Texas does not have a state gaming commission as it prohibits non-tribal casinos. No tribal state gaming compacts exist. However, it does have the Texas Lottery Commission providing gaming regulations for the Texas State Lottery. There are 2 American Indian tribal casinos with Class II competition-style electronic gaming machines. Texas also offers 1 Greyhound racetrack and 5 horse racetracks. However, these pari-mutuel wagering facilities do not provide gaming machines. The largest casino in Texas is the Kickapoo Legal Eagle Casino, having over 3,300 gaming machines but no table games. The second largest casino, and only other casino in Texas, is Neskilla Gaming, having 800 gaming machines and no table games. There are no non-tribal commercial casinos in Texas. The two tribal casinos in Texas are 1. Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel in Eagle Pass, located 143 miles southwest from San Antonio. 2. Neskilla Gaming in Livingston, located 74 miles northeast from Houston. As an alternative to enjoying Texas slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Texas is to the north, Oklahoma; to the east, Arkansas, Louisiana, and the Gulf of Mexico; to the south, the country of Mexico; to the north and west, New Mexico. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit ProfessorSlots.com followed by its two-letter postal designation. For example, my Oklahoma slots article is available at ProfessorSlots.com/OK. Texas slots enthusiasts near the border to Oklahoma are in an interesting predicament. Several of you have reached out to me with complaints about Oklahoma tribal casinos located near the northern border of Texas. In late May, about 3 months ago from this recording, Patricia told me that her and her friends were so concerned about what they call terrible odds of winning at slots at the Choctaw Nation Casino in Grant that she wanted to complain to the Oklahoma State Gaming Commission. I had to explain to her that, unfortunately, there is no Oklahoma State Gaming Commission. Oklahoma only has tribal casinos, and their tribal state gaming compacts require Oklahoma tribes to have their own tribal gaming commission. Oklahoma has 33 tribes with a gaming compact. I went to the Choctaw Nation Tribal Gaming Casino website, but found no way there for Patricia to be able to file an online complaint. That Tribal Gaming Commission office did have a telephone number for the commission. I wish I could have found more helpful information there for Patricia. But I did have a few suggestions. First, my 5-pull slot strategy is an approach which might help take advantage of that tribal casino. It also has the advantage of being an inexpensive approach to gambling. I told her that the approach might not help her win at that casino, but it might slow down how much she was losing. Basically, it might stretch her dollars to last a bit longer. This method is my winning strategy 1, only win immediately. I describe it fully in podcast episode number 23. I also mentioned this first suggestion later in July to Fern, who had the same concern. She also lives in Texas, but a couple 100 miles further west from Patricia. Fern told me she's close to 2 tribal casinos, Comanche and Kiowa. I had a second suggestion for both Patricia and Fern, which was to stop going to their just across the border Oklahoma tribal casinos, to save their gambling money for a few months, to travel a bit further, to try their luck to the east in Shreveport, Louisiana. I think it was a practical solution for Patricia, but not for Fern, who has shared that she's 80 years old. Going so far might not be comfortable or perhaps possible for Fern, being several 100 miles further west from Louisiana than Patricia. What I haven't yet shared with you are my explanations as to why Oklahoma casinos have such low payout returns. Oklahoma tribal casinos don't share their payout return statistics and don't have a legal limit defined in their tribal compacts. But I certainly hear complaints. The complaints I hear seem to be coming from the Oklahoma tribal casinos located relatively near a state border, especially the border to Texas. To Patricia and Fern, I tried to explain that the low odds of winning is a business decision by the casinos. I believe they do lower their odds, and I think tribal casinos near the border to Texas do it because Texans have few gambling options. For example, I'm not hearing the same objections and concerns coming from tribal casinos in northern Oklahoma near the state border to Kansas. Why? Because Kansas not only has lots of casinos, but lots of gambling options. What does Kansas have? 4 non-tribal casinos and 5 tribal casinos, with the largest casino in Kansas not far from the border to Oklahoma. No minimum or maximum payout returns are legally set for casinos in Texas. Furthermore, no actual payout return statistics are publicly available. Texas slot machine casino gambling consists of 2 American Indian tribal casinos. These tribal casinos offer Class II bingo machines where players compete for prizes against other players throughout a casino's gaming floor. In the last year, the financially struggling Jack's or Better Casino gambling boat sailing out of Galveston to international waters has closed. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Part 1 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is again undecided. However, I'm working to publish it in 2 weeks or less. I'd like to work on getting back to a regular publishing schedule of every 2 weeks from now on, if possible. And it's always possible. To make a suggestion or ask a question which might end up as a blog article or on a podcast episode, email to john@professorslots.com, where John is spelled J-O-N, or by calling 702-90-SLOTS to leave a voicemail. Part 2 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast are more brief overviews of the current state of gambling in 2 U.S. states, territories, or federal district. Next time I'll be talking to you about the great U.S. territory of the U.S. Virgin Islands and the great U.S. state of Utah. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Show notes for this episode are now available within most podcast apps, but are also available on my website at professorslots.com/E55. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.